Sir, you're gonna die if you fly down there. Sir? Okay, you're adamant to die, I guess I'll just have to finish you off myself. There you go. Public service. Always kill those who want to die. No, don't do that. Anyways, welcome back to FTB Skies, everybody. You all remember the last video how I made this whole thing right here where it's giving me a butt ton of power, and I still wasn't able to figure this thing out. I don't think I ever will be able to, so yeah, it's fine. We're just gonna get a whole pretty little light show that kind of resembles somebody that shall not be named. So, what we're going to be doing in this video is going to be very special, is we're going to be doing some more automations, and the automations we're doing are going to help us progress because it is for the fire right and also for the pure crystals. I feel like these quests are backwards, but that's fine. So I've already made up all of the recipes for these, and rather than put them in a crafter that would be like all the way over there where I'd have to like put up a whole bunch of cablings and stuff like that, I'm actually instead going to put them into here, and they are still patterned ones, which means that they're going to be exuded into a inventory space if there is one, like say maybe right there in an ender chest set to the magenta dye. Maybe. So yeah, you can probably all see where I'm going with this part is I'm going to take this one over here and then have it set up like there. I'm going to need this thing to be up by a little bit, so I'm going to need to grab myself some pipes or some temporary blocks. I'll just use these pipes for right now so that way I can lift myself up to the proper height, which should be right around here, so I can go ahead and then put that right there, and then I can go ahead and then break those down. Okay, so how I'm going to be doing this is going to be a mix of it being incredibly efficient and incredibly ugly at the same time. And the way we're going to be doing that is with something called Laser IO. If you haven't seen this before, it's actually very, very sick. So we use these things called laser nodes, and it kind of acts as like a form of transportation that's very, very sick. So in order to get those things in the proper placements, I'm going to need to put these hoppers, which we're going to be here anyways, but I'm just going to have those things there right now. And then I forgot my chests, as I was trying to say, and then we're going to be putting these chests right here, and there's a very special reason as to why we're doing it like this. So with the chests there, we can go ahead and then put the nodes right there, and I did actually line this up perfectly. There we go. And so then I just need to put this all the way across all four of these ones, and bada bing bada boom, we are now done with those portions of it. So then after that, we just need to go ahead and then grab this thing right here, which is the card holder. For some reason, these things don't stack on their own, and I need these things to be able to make it work like that. I have no idea why that is the case. So on the up one, we put that one right there. That is the extract. It'll take things out from an inventory space. And then along all of these sides, we just need to go ahead and then put in these other ones. And you might be thinking that there's no laser like there is with this one if you were perceptive enough. And to that I say you are correct, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because we need to link these things to their proper things because they're so far away. So I need to shift click that thing, and then I can set it up across all four of these ones, and it should now work. You won't have to do this if they're like right next to each other, but otherwise you will. Or maybe it's just because I'm connecting them to laser nodes. It's either or. And I should have already have... Okay, I do. I remembered putting these things in here when I was setting up for this. I just didn't know if I had all of them in there already. Okay, so then after that, we just need to continue putting these cards in, so that way it'll go into all of these chests. And there we go. It all looks very, very nice indeed. It looks a little conspicuous. Okay, I won't address that. So then after that, what we're going to need to do is, I don't need to do this on one of them, being the earth one, but I'm going to need to go out by one from here, and then place a temporary block there, which will just be the chest, and then I'll place another chest right here. And then I'm going to need to use an item pipe right here, and I can connect the last chest right over to there. Then I need to connect another chest here, and then another pipe right here, and then I can go ahead and then laserify this one right here. And this is for a completely different portion of this, and like I said, I don't need to do this one for this one, but for the air, the water, and the fire ones, I am going to need to do this. And then I'm also going to want to, you know, configure all these things so that way they show up. It also just occurred to me that I didn't need to do the whole temporary block thing at all. I could have just placed them down like this and then just had it continue going over. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm so dumb. Oh, hello there, what are you doing? What the heck? It just skipped all over the place. Okay, hello, little sir. I'm gonna need you to die real quick. No, get away from me. Yeah, there we go. What did I just get? A hook. I don't need any of that crap. And then after that, I can go ahead and start placing chests on the fronts of all of these ones. It does actually need to be all of them this time. And then, for the final time with these laser thingies, whatever, these item cards, I can go ahead and then put them into each of these ones. And a chest being here shouldn't be in the way, but I mean, even if it is, there'll be an easy fix for that. So I just need to get across all of these ones. And then we got a last one right over here. Oh, for fire! Who would ever leave fire for last? This guy. Now, I don't entirely know if you can item pipe things onto these ones, but you should be able to. So I'll just need to bring these things down by all the way over to here. And then there we go. It should all be well and good. So then pretty much all that is left is to... Actually, I just realized something. I forgot that I'm going to need one more item card for this one right here. Well, I mean, I can grab that later because I don't really need to do that one for right now. So I guess it'll be okay. So what we first need to do is we need to grab an iron, and then also some inert crystals. And there is a specific reason for this. So over here on this one, this is the going to the water one. For right here, we need to set it to this one, so that way the iron will go into here, and then also, I'm pretty sure it needs to be just one. We then can put that right there. And then we need to do this across all of these. And the reason we're doing it like this is because with it like this and these things filtered in like this, it'll only insert one into each of these places, hopefully. So then once that gets done, it'll then insert one of the crystals from here into this one, and then those crystals will then go down into here, and then making the element crystal in question. And I actually am going to need to put a chest with an item pipe right here, and I'm using an ender chest just so that way it all gets sent right back over to there. Alrighty, there we go. That should be all of them. And the reason why the water one also gets iron is because one of the things that it needs is called drenched iron, and that's basically made in the same way as the crystals. And speaking of which, we are actually going to need to make one of each of the crystals just so that way we can continue filtering up these things. And there we go. Now those all should be good. And then I can go ahead and then just throw these ones back into here. And lo and behold, this really didn't take long at all because all of these things are hooked up to a creative one. They'll all be filled up within no time. And the reason why I'm not sending these things in yet is so that way I can have them set up properly, because these things will also be going into these ones. So up here on this one, I want this to be set to the water one because that's what this one is. And then I'm going to do the same thing across all of them so that they are configured to be the correct element. This one should be air, this one is earth, and then once again saving it for last, this one is the fire one. There we go. And then I would just need to configure all of these things to allow exportation, and pretty much, there we go. It's all well and good. And then I can go ahead and then put these ones to allow them to import as well. That one is already done. And then I just need to set these things up for their drawers. Oh yeah, also a word of warning. You're going to want to put in some filters into each of these ones just so that way it doesn't pull out the ingredients that you're putting in, because that would then be very bad. Also, I was able to set this thing up right here. So now we can go ahead and then just throw this part right here. So then that's pretty much the entirety of the pure crystal automation done, because now we've automated the crystals as well as the pure crystals. It's just a matter of if the things are allowed to go into here, which is something we can actually go ahead and test out right now. So if we go into here, I actually already have a pure crystal, so I'm going to want to ask for a new one, and I already have all these things, so if they're able to go in with the pipes, this should work, and it does take quite a while, so I'll be able to go ahead and catch it. So let's see. Are they there? They are there! So this does work. And this thing is doing its whole whooshy booshy thing. That's actually really good. So then once this one over here is done, I'm going to want to have something new to it, which is going to be another chest. Then we'll put this one right down. Oh, well, you know what? I don't care. We'll put it right down here, and then I'll put another pipe here, so that way it should pull it out once it is done, if it works. And right here, it has actually turned into the crystal. So we can go ahead and then put this here, and unfortunately wait, did it go out? Oh, it did go out. Oh, well, that's actually very neat. Okay, so then we can go ahead and then set this part up so that way it blacklists the actual diamond when it goes in there. And then pretty much with that, it's all really well and done. So this does work. It is very, very ugly. And that is the first part of this all done. Now that we've automated the crystal, though, we now need to go ahead and then automate the firelight. Oh boy, this one's a little trickier. So for the next part to the automations where we're going to be automating the firelight, we're first going to need to automate the swift alloy, which should be, it goes into the air one, I believe. Yeah, it does. So that will be this one right back here. Now, we can't actually automate these things without this thing right here called the order sorter. And to use that, we need swift alloy, which means we need 5 for each of them. And since we do this one for 3 out of the 4 of them, we're going to need 15 swift alloy, which means we're going to have to make these manually. So since we're going to need 15 of the swift alloys, we're actually going to need 15 of the drenched iron. So I can go ahead and then ask for a couple of those. I only need 14 though, because I already made one before. So then it's just going to hopefully make all of that work, if it doesn't like back itself up or something. So it is going, and it does look like it's doing it in the proper way. Then we're also going to need 15 of these air crystals, so I can go ahead and then set those things to start crafting. And then we're also going to need to go ahead and then just pick up 15 gold, copper, and then redstone, which are all right here, so I don't have to worry about anything with those. Hold on, wait a minute. I messed up something very severe. So when I was making all of these, I didn't realize that the laser nodes would just send it to a random one, because I was kind of a little bit dumb. So I ended up having to rework some things a little bit. So I made 4 more ender chests, which would just take out the inert crystals from in there and then send them over into these 1 inventory chests called the Dirt Chest 9000, which then sends them straight down into these things, causing all of these crystals to be made indefinitely. So it's always going to be being created, and because of that, I had to put these void cards into here just in case these things ever fill up to their max. We have enough air crystals now though, so let's get back into the proper things. Alrighty, so how this actually works is very interesting. So you need to do this in the exact order as it shows in here, following along this line. So first we go gold, then drenched iron, then copper, then redstone, and then the air crystals. And then those things will all begin to coalesce and form the swift alloy. There we go. Now I think I need to have an empty inventory hand so we can have that going right here. So this is going to be my life for like, I don't know, the next 5 minutes maybe.
5 minutes later.
And here we go. Now we have the last one. So now with all of these swift alloys all together, we can go ahead and then make this thing right here, which is the order sorter. And this thing is so freaking useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these on each of these end chests all the way around this place right here. So the best one to set an example for this would be the spring-aligned shards. Let's go ahead and grab that. So right here we have this whole thing here, so we can go ahead and then ask for this thing to craft one of it, and then it should all be sent over into that chest. See if I can stop flying my freaking flamingo. Okay, you see, they all already went into here, but they went in at the wrong order. What we want them to do is we want them to go in the correct order, being amethyst, quartz, and then this. And this is where this comes in handy. By putting this here and then put that one, it then goes down into this little fashion, and then we can put this one right here. And it goes in order from the smallest to the biggest, no, biggest to smallest, in the order in which the things will go in. So if we put that in there, it ain't gonna go in. If we put this one in there, it ain't gonna go in. But once we put this into there, it'll then go all in the proper order, and then those things will then collect to create, no, not collect, coalesce to create the spring-aligned shard. That is why this thing right over here, oh wait, no, I already put them all down. This thing is so useful, is because we are basically able to create all of the things that we need. And now this one also did just teach me that I am going to actually have to rework some of these things with their things, so that way I can go ahead and then put all the recipes which will allow them to go over into their things. So then let me do all of these stuff real quick, and then basically this will all be pretty much done.
20 minutes later.
Alrighty, and now with this whole thing is semi-perfect. I did find a problem that I just don't know how to fix. So with a couple of them being the Swift Alloy and the Spring Align, they both need to be over the element that their crystal is. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that these pedestals also needed to be with their specific element, and thus I have the crystals going both into this way and then also to this way, and it seems like they like to prioritize going towards this one, so whenever I set these things up, I'm going to have to come back over and then maneuver the crystals backwards. So other than that, this whole thing should be pretty much semi-automatic. So then all that's left to do is just test it. So I just need to go ahead and then ask for one of these. Oh, I already have those ingredients. Okay, well, I mean, at least it should still work if I go over to here. All of those things should go in. Oh, wait. I'm so dumb, I didn't configure this one. I could have sworn I did. That's why it got stopped. Okay, but now it should start to go in. What the? Oh, I thought that the netherite disappeared. No, it just shrank. Oh gosh, I am so blind. Okay, well, actually, I should probably then check if any of those other ones I didn't configure. Okay, no, I did configure them all. I just missed this one. Oh, geez. Okay, but this should be correct. So it went in like this, and it should be like that. Yeah, so it is good. It's just going to take a lot of this. And there we go. We now have ourselves the Fireite alloy. Okay, so it does work when I already have the ingredients, but let's see what complications arise if I don't have the ingredients. Alright, so, I mean, this whole thing, it does work, but it's all very tedious. So I think I'll be the first person to say this. My system sucks. So I decided to make some adjustments to it. What a wonderful transition. So, I figured something out after a while of stepping away from it, and it would seem that I was a little bit dumb with it. So all I had to do to fix this was, I needed to set up as separate things for source to be able to put it into these things whenever they're making the crystals. And, I mean, I was able to do that with just, like, random sources and just repeatedly placing them down and breaking them to get random ones. And they weren't always able to be in line with the rest of them. But you know what, that's fine. They're all making the crystals, so it's okay. But why I was dumb with these ones is because I was able to fix this whole issue where the crystals would go either or easier by just putting an ender chest here. And if we take ourselves all the way back here, I just put another ender chest on this one and moved these three, the ones that needed those chests, over to here. And now it's also symmetrical, which means it doesn't bother me anymore. So I made things incredibly a lot harder for myself just because I didn't think it through. And yeah, I did test it out, and with this system, it does work a whole lot better. I was able to get the pure crystal to work out much, much better, and I found an issue with the Fireite. Let me show you. So if I go over here and ask for this thing to craft a Fireite, it'll put all these things here for availables and things to craft, right? So I send that thing to craft, and if I go back here, I actually made something called a crafting monitor, which will show me all of the recipes that I have currently going. This one I actually could have sworn I canceled. So back here, it shows everything that we already have and then things that are still in the process of being used to make something. And by the looks of all of this, it looks like it's making the spring align. Now, if we go back here, we can clearly see that, these processes are not being done. And there is a very, very specific reason for that. So if we look in here for, say, the spring align, it is very much completed. But if we look back here in this, it is very much not yet processed. So the issue is when I try to create this thing and it doesn't have the ingredients, it doesn't process that the ingredients have been made. And I've narrowed that down to this being a refined storage issue, not an issue with the automation, because I mean, it does work. It's just that, I need to do it repeatedly over and over again so that it registers that those things are in. So now what I think I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to preemptively get this thing so that it has those ingredients made, and then I can automate that. So yeah, it's a few extra steps, but I mean, hey, at least it worked. And oh dear, look at this, 16 of the pure crystals. And if I do believe that is exactly the amount I needed far before actually being able to get the Fireite. And yeah, since I already have 18 of the Fireite ingots already in here through various different means, I'm only going to need 48 of the stuff. So that means I only need 48 of each of the individual ingredients. Well, then I guess we'd better get crafting.
Much later.
And now we only have one more to go, but I don't want to wait for it. So let's speed this baby up to about 16, and that should do it for at least, a little bit. And the reason why I have this thing here, there we go, is because I'm really not going to use Fireite again after all of this. So really, this is the only time I was going to use this whole setup. But I mean, I may need like pure crystals and stuff like that in the future, but realistically speaking, I made all of this automation for it just for this episode. I will probably not come back to this. Oh my goodness, and that is actually rather unfortunate, but I mean, hey, at least we are now one step closer to the end of the entire series. Oh my goodness, this whole pyramid will be done soon, my friends. So then after this one, I would just need to get 16 Gaia Spirit ingots, and then also 32 Flux Infused ingots, which really aren't that hard to get, but the Gaia Spirit ingots, those ones are a little bit trickier, and I'm probably going to have to fight the Guardian at least one more time, because there are other conditions that will apply. But you know what? We did some good things today, and this has been dragging on for way too long for me. So all that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last FTB Skies video. Bye-bye!